Hello. Welcome to the second installment of the Two for Time Travel video series. This is our second installment. The first was back in January. For those of you who followed that, we did the Chameleons, great band out of England from the early 1980s. I wanted to change it up a little bit for the second installment and sort of jump fairly significantly in time and music style. So we're going to focus on Simon and Garfunkel for this installment, and I have a special guest, Jeff, who is going to play with me on both songs. The album of focus is The Sound of Silence, the great classic 1966 album, which really, in many respects, is sort of the first album of their truly productive period. They did have one album before that, which incidentally contained an earlier version of The Sound of Silence. The musical style of Simon and Garfunkel, there's not a whole lot I can say that most people are not already aware of. They sort of have this permanent imprint in American music and history overall. It's well documented that they were sort of childhood friends, sang together from the time they were like their early teen years. I think that's fairly significant. I think the fact that they not only sang together for that length of time, but particularly during their formative years, I think is very important for just how natural their styles flow together. Most people know that Paul Simon is the main songwriter of the group, both lyrics and music. The two of them in the early years were very influenced by the Everly Brothers. You can hear that with sort of their more sort of upbeat tunes and of course the great harmony that we associate with Simon and Garfunkel. One aspect which is probably, I don't know personally, I don't know if it's really documented at all, but an observation of my own is before The Sound of Silence became a big hit, that after the first album, Simon and Garfunkel had actually split up, and Paul Simon went and lived in England, and he wrote a lot of the great classic tunes from The Sound of Silence album during that period, and there was even an album recorded which was called the Paul Simon Songbook. What I find interesting during this time period is that you hear the guitar style of Paul Simon sort of evolve into not just a folk style, which he had already developed, but very much British folk style. At the time in England, there was sort of a protege of all the British folk guitarists, a guy named Davy Graham, who we will likely visit in a further installment. But Davy Graham had this sort of, finger style, finger picking, and somewhere in between folk and classical, very distinctive. And this style was just sort of handed down through many great artists. Think of the intro to Stairway to Heaven, and you can trace that style back to Davy Graham. Anyway, so I believe Paul Simon was very influenced, like a lot of the other guitarists in England at the time, by Davy Graham and others who were sort of pushing that style forward. There's even a tune called Angie, which was a Davy Graham tune, which appears on The Sound of Silence. It's an instrumental. So I think that's a significant point to make with regard to Simon and Garfunkel at that time period. And also the song Sound of Silence, which was their first big hit single. I think it's important to point out that it was really the folk rock arrangement that really pushed them through to the higher spots in the American top 40, the singles charts, which was very important back in those days. Again, the two songs we're going to focus on, myself and Jeff, we're going to do Sound of Silence. We're going to do I Am a Rock a cappella. Hope you bear with us on this one. We sort of wanted to explore what we could do vocally without sort of having guitars front and center. So we sort of took a crack at that a cappella. So anyway, Sound of Silence, provided some background links, and hope you can explore some of the videos and links provided, and just sort of revisit Simon and Garfunkel, and again enjoy our interpretation.
Hello darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walk alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turn my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools, said I, you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you, take my arms that I might reach you, but my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. The people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, whispered in the sound of silence.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A winter's day in a deep and dark December, I am alone, gazing from my window to the streets below, on a freshly fallen silent shroud of snow. I am a rock, I am an island, I've built walls, a fortress deep and mighty, that none may penetrate. I have no need of friendship, friendship causes pain, its laughter and its loving I disdain. I am a rock, I am an island. Don't talk of love, well I've heard the word before. It's sleeping in my memory. I won't disturb the slumber of feelings that have died. If I never loved, I never would have cried. I am a rock, I am an island. I have my books and my poetry to protect me. I'm shielded in my armor, hiding in my room, safe within my womb. I touch no one and no one touches me. I am a rock, I am an island, and a rock feels no pain, and an island never cries.